Hi, everybody. George Palaio. Today, I want to ask you a question. Do you have the guts to be held accountable? And do you value accountability? And how does that work in your life? How do you get better? Typically, it's through accountability. And we don't like accountability. We don't like our parents to tell us what to do. We don't like a boss to tell us what to do. We don't want anybody to tell us what to do. A spouse, we don't want our spouse to tell us what to do. So we kind of fight accountability. But what is accountability, right? It's somebody holding you to account for something you said that was important to you or that you were going to accomplish or that matters to you. And you would say, why do I need somebody to hold me accountable? Because there's often times where you'll get busy, you'll get distracted, or you won't give your best. There's often times where you don't feel like it. And that's where accountability really serves a purpose. But there's 3 levels to accountability. There's the lowest level is you're just an attender. And I'll give you an example of what this means. Number 2, you're a participant. And number 3, you're a partner. So let me break those down a little bit more in detail. Let's say you're going to church, right? You just attend service. You're an attender. Let's say it's a gym. You're going to the gym. You got a gym membership. Hey, man, I kind of show up when I feel like it, right? Let's say you're trying to get better and you're an entrepreneur, business owner. You're like, man, I'm going to go to that conference. I kind of like that conference. I feel like growing. I feel like really, being inspired. So you do things around when you feel like it. You don't want contracts. You don't want more commitment than that. You want the least amount of commitment. But that's the lowest level of attender. And you'll have a mentality of, I want to be coached when I feel like it. I want high standards when I feel like it. That's it. That's that person. Okay, that's the attender. And then there's the participant. The participant is somebody that knows that, man, you know what? I know I'm not going to push myself as much as I can, and I need to push myself more. So let me sign up for that workout class, an F45 class, or a core power yoga, or there's what's that, Orange Theory, right? Where like I'm going to get there and I'll maybe do half hour, but that class is going to get me to do a little bit more. Let me do that. But guess what the problem is with that? You're still doing it when you feel like it. Right? There's not a system. There's not a structure. There's nobody that's holding you accountable, an individual that's holding you accountable. I'll give you another one in the business world, right? That next step past that, attending conferences or reading books or watching podcasts or YouTube, is that you actually sign a contract with somebody to hold you accountable. A consultant, a company, a mentor. You actually, an individual, on their time, your time, there's an agreement that, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable. There's individual conversation that, hey, you said you were going to do this, you didn't do it. What happened? There's a consequence if you don't accomplish the goal. I'll share a story of mine. I hired a consultant, amazing individual, and I said, hey, man, I really want to get better in my faith. And he says, okay, great. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to read the Bible this week. I'm going to do that. Great. We'll check in next week. There's actually a check-in. See, this is the accountability part. And so we check in and he says, hey, how was it? And I said, man, I was really busy this week. We're closing out the month, so I just didn't get a chance to do it. He says, well, then, you know what? Let's just change the goal. Obviously, getting closer to God's not important to you. And I was like, no. Like, it is important to me. He's like, no, it's not, because you didn't do it. If it was important, you would have done it. So why don't we just change the goal? So now he's pushing me back. Of, you know what, maybe it's not important to you. And I'm like, now I'm defending my own goal. No, it is important. Okay, well then, what are you going to change this week? And let's be as specific as possible. See, this is what accountability does. It takes a random or general or an abstract, I want to get better in my faith, very general, to say, okay, well, what does that even mean to you? Right? Well, I want to know who God is. Okay, well, what's your plan on how to do that? Well, I'm going to attend church. Okay, well, what else? Right? I'm going to read the Bible. How often? Okay, where are you going to start? Okay, what are you going to do per day? And you kind of come up with this strategy. And then there's a check-in to say, how did that go? And I'll tell you, the process of this accountability, we're right now going through Psalms, and I've never started at the Old Testament, gotten to Psalms, and it's amazing when you go through this, because I said, man, one day I'm going to meet God, and I'm not even going to know. He's going to say, do you know who I am? And I'm going to say, yeah, I know who you are, God. Let me in heaven, please, right? And he's like, son, you never read my word. I gave you a whole lifetime, and you never seeked me out, right? So I needed accountability in that area. And then there was somebody that said, hey, what are you going to do? Let's break that down. Let's set that goal. And then let's follow up to see if you kept your word. See, that's the power of accountability. Do you keep your word when you say you're going to do something? That's the power of a coach. That's the power of a mentor. That's the power of a consultant. That's the power of somebody that's willing to push you and hold you accountable to the things that you said that you were going to do. So I want to talk about kind of like the mentality of each one. So let's say you're saying, It's the lowest level, by the way. You're saying, I want to be coached when I feel like it, right? Because that's the lowest level of coachability. I want to be coached when I feel like it. I don't feel like being coachable today. Well, then you're not going to be coachable to that person. That person also doesn't want to invest more time into you because they know that you're not even serious about the things you say you want to do, right? And the mentalities of this person is when they're being challenged, they secretly don't like high standards, right? They secretly, but you know what? They just don't understand my situation. They just don't care. It's all about money. It's like, you want it to be successful, then your coach is telling you what you need to do to be successful, or somebody's telling you what you need to do to be successful, but you fight it, right? Because in that moment, there's conflict because you got a low standard. You got a low standard, and that's just what it is. And you got to be able to accept this and know that, your standards, if your standards were that great, you'd already have that dream life you want. So it's not a high standard, so you got to be able to submit to that higher standard. Then there's the second person. They're consistent, but again, they have low standards. So what does this person look like? They're a check the box person. I went to the gym, got it in today, right? Got it in today. I did my workout. Yeah, I know I can do this. And I see these people. They hire a person at the gym, they hire a trainer at the gym, and then they complain at the gym. This person has an at least mentality. This person is typically comparing down. At least I got to the gym today. Other people didn't even work out. I got a trainer, man. I do a couple trainings a week, but you're not giving your very best, and you're not giving your very best. So that's it's better than the first version, but it's not the ultimate version, right? Then there's a high performer. And this is a person that says, man, you know what? I want to take the coaching. I want the challenge. Man, I'm going to respond. You're right. I got to get better. Their spirit, they're willing to accept the truth, and they want to rise to that higher standard. They're willing to pay the price because what they want, it really matters to them enough that they're saying, man, I'm willing to be coached. I'm willing to be challenged, right? I want this, right? I'm willing to take it on. There's that high performer. And then there's the last version, guys, which is this person gives everything they got. This is the one percenter. This is the person that says, dude, while you're helping me, right, and you're holding me accountable and I value that, you eventually get to this point of your life where you say, man, you know what? I'm now the person holding myself accountable. I'm now the person leading myself. I'm now the person challenging myself. I'm now the person questioning my own thoughts, saying, man, is that really your best? You become the coach. You start to coach yourself. You start to hold yourself accountable. See, there was a process when I got started in business 18 and a half years ago in the insurance industry. I'm an employee that has the spirit of wanting to be free as an entrepreneur, but the habits of an employee, the discipline of an employee, and then I get into business and somebody else's standards are higher than mine. And why do you think I said, well, man, but at least I'm here at the training today, man, at least I'm trying, man, at least what a victimhood mentality of at least, right? And these are things that somebody had to teach me. Because when you hear this, your spirit fights it a little bit, but you're like, man, you're right. I kind of say that sometimes. And then there was conflict, conflict of, hey, you said you were going to do this. Did it matter to you? Or were you just excited? See, the right coach, the right accountability is going to put your goals and your dreams, and they're going to put it right back in front of your face with all respect. This is what you said you wanted. Does that still matter? You're right. It still does matter. Of course it matters. So then you're not quitting on the business. You're quitting on this. You're quitting on your mom. You're quitting on your family. You're quitting on the things you said that were important to you. No, I'm not going to quit on that. Well, then do it. Oh, I am going to do it, But that's conflict, man. This is why people don't like accountability. It's understood. It's uncomfortable, right? It exposes your weakness. It exposes your inconsistency. It exposes your insecurity. You're held accountable to keep your word. And in this culture today, guys, nobody keeps their word. I'll be there. Don't show up. Right? Hey, yeah, you can. I'll get it done. Don't finish the job. Right? We're actually so used to people that have such low standards that we don't even expect certain people to keep their word anymore. In our business, we have something called a FICO, just like credit score. But what's your FICO in business? When you say you're going to do something, do you do it? I remember even telling my mentor, hey, I'm going to do this for 3 years, and I was clear on that. And he says, no, you said you were going to do it for 4. I was like, no, I did not. I said I was going to do it for 3 years. No, you said you were going to do it for 4. And I said, I did not say that, but because you believe that, and that's what you truly believe, and my word to you matters to me, I'll do it an extra year, and I'll show it because I value the relationship with this coach. I value this relationship with my mentor. So it's to the point where that you want to protect your credibility. You want to protect that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And here's why. This is so important. This is so important. Eventually, if you say you're going to do things and you don't do them, you stop believing in yourself and you don't understand that you have the power to change anything that you want to change in your life. You think that like some people are just lucky, or some people are just destined to make it, and it's not you're just not that person. That's a bunch of nonsense. When it's the reason why do you believe that? Because you're not committed to the process, so you think that they got lucky. Because you're not consistent, so you think luck is needed to make it. When you're consistent, you don't think you need luck to make it. You know you're gonna make it. And if you're measuring and you're constantly getting better, and you're asking for people to tell you the truth as well, of where can I improve, and you're humble. See, accountability requires a lot of humility. Because you gotta expose yourself to say, hey man, tell me the truth. And you got to hear the things you don't want to hear. You got to hear the ugly things. You got to hear where you fall short. You got to hear where you can improve. And so this is why people don't like accountability. This is why the question was, do you have the guts to be held accountable? Now, if you're watching and saying, yeah, I'm fired up. Oftentimes, the emotion that you need to keep your commitment is not the emotion that you made it with. See, when you're inspired, you make commitments, but there's a lot of time that you're not inspired. That fire is gone, and that's where discipline comes in. And that's where accountability helps to produce discipline. And eventually, you become this disciplined person that holds themselves accountable. And your standards are so high for you that other people can't have higher standards for you. I've lived my life, and I'll tell you, I'm 37, guys. Up until probably 35-ish, other people that are around me that have mentored me had a higher standard for me. And I'm at a season in my life where as a human being, as a man, as a spirit, I don't want anybody to have a higher standard for me than I have for myself. It doesn't mean I don't still need accountability. I still need accountability. But I want to make sure that my standard is the highest that anybody can have, that there's not another human being on this planet that's going to have a higher standard for George than George has for George. So I don't know what level you are today. If you're just an attender, maybe you got to commit to participant. If you're the participant, maybe you need to commit to partner and really make that decision. Because in any area that you want to grow, whether it's your business, whether it's your health, whether it's your faith, in any area, you're going to need somebody that's ahead of you that's willing to hold you accountable to get to that next level. Hope this helps, guys. We'll see you on the next video.